With the world glued to their TV sets, the first 100 days of this year were described as apocalyptic and catastrophic. 24 hours a day, we watched disasters unfold in our living rooms. The scale of destruction was like nothing we'd seen before. And the nuclear nightmare that was triggered had a lot of people believing this was the beginning of the end.
Japan is battling to contain a potential nuclear catastrophe.
Another fire broke out at the Fukushima power plant just this morning.
Radiation continues to leak from damaged nuclear reactors in Fukushima.
The worst nuclear disaster since Chernobyl.
Certainly the nuclear fallout was the big thing in terms of markets, because the earthquake and tsunami were enormous, were huge. But the nuclear fallout, that represented a new element, an element that we hadn't had to deal with beforehand.
This has been a tumultuous year, so everyone's asking, what's going on? And they're turning to ancient texts. The Torah is the first 5 books of the Old Testament, and it's one of the oldest manuscripts that hasn't changed over the centuries. Inside of the computer, the Torah resides as a text file. The rabbis or the professors put in a keyword, and up comes a table. And it looks like a crossword puzzle. Not everything you search for is in the Torah, but lately we've been really amazed at what's been in there. When a word is just blatantly there and you can't ignore it, then it's like, what do you do with that information? There's a lot of ancient knowledge out there that no one has bothered to look into.
The Mayans of today still use ancient methods to make predictions and remain convinced, without doubt, that our planet's turmoil is a backlash from Mother Nature.
The coca leaves are saying that there will be natural disasters, there will be storms, there will be upheavals, because that's the only way that humanity can learn, that they must change their ways, that they must come back to the ways of the Mother. Once we learn the lesson, the Earth will stop teaching us in this way.
When you say Mother Nature is rebelling against what we've done to her, you're really describing exactly a religious sentiment, which is that the idea, it's an old pantheist idea of seeing God or a God in a tree or a stone or a rock or the planet, and this is coming back again.
It appears the seemingly chaotic state of our planet has touched a nerve with everyone. So what does pure science say about this?
How long will the Earth last? When will the Earth come to an end? Well, the one date that is firmly fixed in our calendar, when we know things will go seriously wrong, is sometime in a year about 5 billion years from now. The sun will change from being what is called a yellow dwarf star, which is its present category, to being something called a red giant. And you can see, you know, the difference immediately, that it will swell, and it will actually swallow up the Earth. That will definitely happen, and that's when the Earth will finally reach its demise.
Other scientific theories include an asteroid, just like the one they believe took out the dinosaurs 65 million years ago. Or maybe a supernova, an exploding star.
In 1983, there was a satellite put up. They call it IRAS. It was an infrared observatory that they put up, and they discovered this planet way out in the distance, billions of miles away. It was like a dark star, which you could only see with an infrared telescope. This is a planet at least the size of Jupiter that seems to be headed in our direction. NASA even has a name for it now. They call it Nemesis.
We know the Earth's history has been shaped by bodies hitting it from space. That's why there's a network of observatories looking for what are called NEOs, or near-Earth objects, that might one day impact the Earth.
A lesser-known theory is a complete reversal of the North and South Poles. Now, astrophysicists know that it has happened before. What they don't know is how to predict the next one, or the impact of it.
Some people, however, are concerned about the change in the magnetic polarity, a shift of the North and South Pole, which does take place every few 100,000 years. But there's no reason to think it will happen in 2012, and actually no evidence that it would do any harm to us, even if it did happen.
But has this polar shift begun already?
Just when you thought there couldn't be more change going on in the world, it turns out magnetic north is moving. Because of it, some airport runways calibrated by compass are now 3 or 4 degrees off. At Tampa International in Florida, they're going to repaint the numbers on the runway and redesignate it because dead center top of the world, magnetic north on the compass is on the move in a big way.
The pole shift, I think, is significant, where the poles are moving rapidly. We're having massive global motion.
The scenario I fear the most is what's called a crustal displacement or a physical pole shift, where the crust of the Earth moves against the interior of the Earth, and that would set off basically everything. Tsunamis, earthquakes, volcanoes, floods, fires. It would be every imaginable cataclysmic event all rolled into one.
Those who believe the planet's clock is ticking are doing more than just talking.
And we already built several bunkers on heights around 2 kilometers.
I've bought some land out near Ballarat, and certainly before 2012, before the start of 2012, I'll have some bunkers in place.
Try to enjoy your life as much as possible because time is running out.